Okay, so for this review, number 2, I'm just going to do this one. The answer key is on Edline, but of course I'll just kind of run through it with you. So complete the table of values, graph the function, state the vertex. So the idea for the absolute value, you can do it directly on the calculator or you can do it by hand. So we'll start some of this by hand, but then I'll bring you to the calculator. So you're looking for the negative, up here, it's going to be the negative of the absolute value of 0 take away 2 plus 1. Well, the absolute value of 0 take away 2 is the absolute value of negative 2. Negative plus 1. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2. Bring down your negative, add it by 1, and negative 1 becomes your answer. So the absolute value comes out to be positive, but the math that you do around it comes out to be negative. If you take in 1 and you do negative absolute value 1 take away 2 plus 1, in here becomes negative 1. The absolute value comes out to be a 1. Bring down this negative, bring down your plus 1, and this is going to give you 0. What ends up happening is 3 is going to be the same thing as the 0, and positive 4 is also going to be a negative 1. The vertex, negative absolute value of 2 take away 2 plus 1. 2 take away 2 is 0. The absolute value of 0 is 0. Negative 0 doesn't make sense, but 0 plus 1 is just going to be 1. So your vertex happens to be 2 comma 1. And then when you graph this thing, 0 comma negative 1 would be here, 1 comma 0 is here, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 0, 4 comma negative 1, and there is your graph for the absolute value. Let me remind you of how to do this on the calculator. Okay, so on the calculator, what you're going to have to do is go to y equals. Let me take the earring out. Okay, so if you go to the calculator and you go to y equals, we're going to type in the rule, and it's going to be negative. You've got to go to math, over to number. There is where you see ABS for absolute value. In the absolute value is the x minus 2. Close up your parentheses, add it by 1. Okay, so this should match exactly what we had here, and it does. I'll take a look at the graph. Looks like the graph that we created. I'll go to the table of values, second graph, and we'll pull this out. Here's your 0, negative 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 3, 0, 4, negative 1. So you can do it by hand, or you can do it on the calculator. It's your choice. Okay, so the next thing it says to you, all right, you are riding on a bike. You're riding a bike on a 3-mile trail. A sign says you have completed 1,500 feet. How many feet do you have left to bike? Well, we've got this conversion where 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. So if 1 mile equals 5,280 feet, then 3 miles equals x feet. When you cross multiply, you're going to get x equaling 15,840 feet. So the question says to you, okay, well, you know you've completed 1,500 miles. How many miles do you have left to go? You're going to take the 3 miles, which ends up being 15,840. You're going to subtract 1,500, and you have 14,340 feet left of trail to ride. Next one, the perimeter of the rectangle is 16. Find the value of x. Well, perimeter means to add up all the sides. So that means if this length is x plus 3, this length is x plus 3. If the width is x, that width is x. Perimeter says to add up all the sides. So perimeter means I'm going to do x plus 3 plus x plus x plus 3. Well, we know the perimeter is 16. When you combine like terms, you've got 4x's plus 6. Subtract 6 from both sides. 10 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4. And it's okay to get a decimal. It's not a big deal. Your answer becomes 2.5 equals x, or 2.5 centimeters if you want. I'm not so concerned about you labeling it, but definitely 2.5 is x. Okay. A regular shape. Find the perimeter in the area of the figure below. Well, if we're going for perimeter, we have to go all the way around. 8 plus 5 plus 3 plus not sure yet, plus not sure yet, plus 3 plus 3 plus 5. Well, let's figure out what we're not sure about yet. If this side here is 3, this side here is 3. If this whole side is 8, and I've got 3 and 3, then this guy right here is 2. So now I have enough to add all the way around. I've got 5 on the left, 8 on the top, 5 on the right, 3 on the bottom, 3 on the side, 2 on the top, 3 on the other side, 3 on the bottom. That's my perimeter. If I add up all of those things, I'm going to get 32 units. You're only adding up what's around the figure, not what's in the figure. Okay, so now if we want to figure out what the area of it, we can break this into 3 separate shapes if you want. So there's a shape and there's a shape. So don't have that much room, but I guess I can do it in here. The area of this figure right here is 5 by 3 or 15 units long. The area of this figure right here is also 5 by 3 or 15 units long. What we're now missing is to figure out the rest of it. And in here, we know this distance was 2, but if this distance is 3 and the whole thing is 5, then this has to be 2 as well. So this little square right in here is a 2 by 2 square, which means for my area, I'm adding up my 1 15 square, my second 15 square, and my 4 square, which ends up being 32 units squared, and that's your area. Area of a rhombus, formula you need to know. Rhombus, if they don't give you the base and the height, it's diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. Well, they tell you that one diagonal is 12.4, the other diagonal is 15. Do the math in the calculator, and you end up getting 93 inches squared. What's the height of a triangle whose area is 18 inches squared and the base is 6? So now you're going to go backwards. Well, you know that the formula for the area of a triangle equals base times height divided by 2. Well, you know the area is 18. You know that the base is 6. You don't know the height, but you're dividing it by 2. Well, what's nice over here is I can say 18 equals just 3h, right? Because 6 divided by 2 is just 3. So if 18 equals 3 times h, divide up by 3 on both sides, and 6 equals the height. Again, if you want to label it, which would be great, 6 inches is the height. All right, last one for this video. Find the surface area and the volume of the cylinder. Show exact answers and answers to the nearest hundredth. So the idea is you're going to keep pi in 2 of the answers, and you're going to multiply through by pi in the other 2. Let's keep the pi in there first. We know that the diameter happens to be 11, which means the radius happens to be 5.5. If we deal with surface area, you're given this formula on your sheet, and it tells you surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. 2 pi 5.5 squared, 2 pi 5.5, and the height of the cylinder is 6. It ends up being that I get, without multiplying through by pi, 5.5 squared times 2 is 60.5 pi. 2 times 5.5 times 6 is 66 pi. So the surface area, which is the exact answer using pi as our like term, is 126.5 pi, and this becomes meters squared. Okay, that's the exact answer. If now I want to take the decimal equivalent of this, I could say then the surface area, and then on the calculator, take 126.5, multiply it by the pi button, round it to the nearest hundredth. This becomes 397.41 meters squared. So what's in black is exact, what's in blue is rounded to the nearest hundredth. Those are both surface area. Let's go for volume. Volume equals pi r squared h, which means pi 5.5 squared times 6. So just 5.5 squared times 6 comes out to be 181.5. Here's the exact answer, pi meters cubed. So this is the exact 181.5 inches, pi inches cubed. When we now multiply this answer by pi, 181.5 times the pi button, you get the decimal answer to the nearest hundredth, which should be 570.20 meters cubed. Okay, so 4 answers there. 2 of them are exact, which means pi is in the answer, and then the other 2 have the decimal equivalents. So hopefully this will be good enough in terms of a review. Remember, the answer keys for all of the reviews are on Edline as well as Castle Learning, okay? So you should be fine for tomorrow. I definitely would watch some other videos if you're not really sure, but my guess is you guys will do great. All right, bye.